Hello, I'm going to show you how to transcode your digital SLR footage and make it work with Final Cut very fast. Alright, so now we've got a raw digital SLR clip. Oops. We've got a raw digital SLR clip. I was probably going to play choppy because I'm capturing. An important thing, chances are you know what size the clip is because you know what setting you filmed it on, but if you know it's an old clip and you don't know, if you get the info of the clip, you'll be able to see. So this was filmed at 1280 by 720, which is 1280 on the camera. I usually film at 1280 60, so that's what I'm going to want to transcode as when you do your codec, just so that it matches up. We'll get to that in a second. So you're going to open up MPEG Stream Clip. Great program if you're going to make video work to compress for Vimeo and for the internet and stuff. So this is MPEG Stream Clip. It's free. So you take your clip and you drag it in to MPEG Stream Clip, and here it is. You can preview it if you want. You can trim it if you want, but I'm not going to go over any of that. To transcode it is basically just to re-export it. So you're going to do export to QuickTime, and then you're going to have to click a compression. Like I said earlier, Apple ProRes is what a lot of people use. It's really high quality. The only thing that I don't like about it is that it makes the files bigger than they start out as. It takes a long time, and I don't really think that that's necessary, especially for BMX shit, because it's not important, and it's not a movie. It's an edit that probably no one's going to watch anyway. So what I'd use is XD-Cam. And this is Apple XD-Cam. These are all your options. The most important thing is that your option matches your footage. I like to use XD-Cam EX. Oh, why are you bouncing? No. Back where was I? I like to use XD-Cam EX and then whatever my footage is. In this case, it's 720p, 60 frames per second. If it was 1080p, 30 frames per second, I would choose this. So 720p, 60 frames per second, turn your quality up to 100, leave everything else alone, click Make Movie. That's if you're doing one clip. If you're doing multiple clips, what you're going to do is you're going to go to List, and you're going to go to Batch List, and then you're going to drag your clips, instead of onto the window itself, into the batch list. Now, if you had multiple clips, you could do multiple clips as well. It doesn't matter. You could do 1,000 clips. It's just going to take longer. So you're going to do Export to QuickTime, click OK, and then choose a destination folder. Put it in this folder. Same thing. You're going to select the codec that you want, compression, XD-Cam, 720p 60. Quality 100. A good thing for this is if you're going to be doing this a lot, you make a preset. Click on Presets, click on New. Current settings will be stored in the new preset. Click on Yes, enter a new name. It's a fine name. Click OK, and then you can load it every time that you're dealing with this kind of footage. When you're done, you click to batch. It'll bring it into the batch list. Then you click Go. Click Go. It'll start the process. Now, while that's going, we'll go over to Final Cut. So you've got Final Cut. This is Final Cut 7. I don't know what version you're using, but I know it might be a little bit different, depending if you're not using the same version as me. FCPX is the worst program ever. Don't use it. So anyway, you've got Final Cut. You've got a sequence. Now chances are your sequence looks like this, which is a standard SD sequence. If you ever had an SD camera and it was the first thing you used when you plugged in your camera to your computer and open Final Cut, your sequence is probably this. If you scroll over to the side, you'll see its compressor, your frame size, and your video rate. Depending on, like I said, what you captured with originally, your sequence could be anything. But we're going to change it to make it match the footage that we just made. So there are two ways to do this. One is to just open the sequence and then force Final Cut to change it for you, which I'm going to show you in a second. But the other option is to change the sequence manually. To do that, right-click on it, go to Settings, and change this to whatever your footage is. So it's HD, TV, 720p in my case, and then your compressor to whatever it is. So the compressor we just did was XDCAM EX 720p 60. Click OK, and now you'll notice it's changed. But if it hasn't been changed and it's, you know, the old sequence and it's the DV Pro, and we open it down here, so this is sequence 1, you'll notice that this is completed. So we'll go grab it from the desktop and drag it in. So now we've got this right here, and here's the settings that we just made. XDCAM EX 720p 60, and here's our sequence. They're not the same, but they need to be. So what you can do is, if you drag this into the sequence, Final Cut will prompt you with this message. For best performance, you can change the sequence to match the clip. If you click yes, and you look back over here, look at that, your sequence has changed to match your footage, and it'll play beautifully. You know, it won't skip, you won't need to render, you can cut, you can add transitions, and Final Cut will work fast and it'll work good. So now that, you know, you've edited, blah blah blah, you're done. To export, just a quick tip on how I export. I do export, QuickTime Movie, name it whatever, leave all this stuff the same. Current settings are fine because we're gonna convert it again. Once this is done, click Save. Final Cut's gonna export it, and now we're gonna go back to MPEG Stream Clip. We can get rid of all this stuff because we're done with it all, and then we can go to our desktop and grab the sequence that we just made, which is right here, and we can drag it into MPEG Stream Clip. So this is the sequence. You can tell because I put that little fade out at the end. And if we want to compress it because it's too big to put on Vimeo because it's long or whatever, and you want to just make it smaller, you go File, Export to MPEG 4, which is just making it into an MP4, which Vimeo wants anyway. I usually judge the quality based on how long it is. If it's really long, I'll put the quality down to 50% to try and keep the size under 500 megabytes. If it's not that long, I'll keep it around 75. Once you're done, you just click Make MP4, and then you'll have your nice MP4 video from your newly transcoded digital SLR footage. Done.